Fresh is a little fun horror movie. It shows Sebastian Stan at his most quirkiest and best. But if you want a summary of Fresh, which is on Hulu now, your summary is the horrors of modern day dating seen through the eyes of a young woman who is battling to survive her new boyfriend's unusual appetites. That is the summary for Fresh on Hulu. Jason, as we do it every time, if you were to give a one sentence review of Fresh, what would it be?
White women, the other white meat.
Man, mine is not too far off of there. Um, Fresh gives a new definition to getting some ass. Go ahead, Jason. I'll let you jump right into Fresh. What are your thoughts?
Oh, dude, Sebastian Stan is he he kills it in this movie. He is so utterly likable, but just on that edge of being creepy. That just like I would probably hang out with this dude and be cool with him as long as he wasn't doing the things that he was doing to me. Um, like for me, the best really it's a really slow kind of engaging sort of thing about this more of a character study than like a movie. The best things happen in the last like 15, 20 minutes of the movie, which are awesome. I will not spoil right now, but it is just a cathartic and wonderful and just one of those crowd pleasing endings that really got me to stand up and shout and say hooray. But yeah, this movie is it starts off like kind of like it's really kind of like a with the even though it's a kind of gross sort of subject, it's really about like the dangers of women meeting men in relationships. You
Mhm.
might meet a guy who's nice, but he might be, just putting on an act because he's really toxic as fuck. And Sebastian Stan, this movie, he's toxic as fuck in the worst way. But other than that, like I really, really find myself being entertained by this movie. It does get very, even though it's not gory or not like over the top. There are some things here that may there are some wince-inducing scenes.
Mhm.
Particularly like they really like to like show the sounds of them chewing and eating at close-ups of their mouths, and like for me that really like makes my skin crawl. And like even though you can tell that this is just regular food that they're eating
Mhm.
in real life, like the fact that they put it in your mind that it's people just makes it so gross.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
But still very enjoyable. Sebastian Stan is very, very engaging to watch in this. The other young lady, Daisy Johnson, I want to say her name is a
I believe so.
likable protagonist. Uh, she and especially in like horror movies. I don't even really consider this a horror movie, but like I guess it's kind of a horror movie. Um, a lot of times the characters, especially female characters, are just dumb and they only survive out of like dumb luck. This character like enacts a plan and takes it out, and that's how uh and that's really cool to see. Whether she succeeds or not, you shall see at the end of the movie. But my only gripe, and it's not really a gripe either, because like the the sister in it, she's great, but she didn't have no nigga instinct. The dude had the instinct,
There you
but she
go.
didn't. The dude was like, I ain't dying for these bitches.
They shouldn't give me
but
no punani anyway. Shit.
but the girl walked in the house and I was like, I, you know, and here's the thing for our non-melanated viewers out there. There's I my buddy Brandon coined this term to me. It's called the nigga instinct, where we can assess a situation and be like, no, this is not going to be a safe situation. And it comes out like, I grew up in the suburbs, but I still got it. You know, everybody got it because we live in America. You got to know when it's like you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And you're like,
Yeah,
oh, we folding on this one. And the
especially
girl,
dealing with white folks.
yeah, and the girl, yeah, stop everything, listen, then leave.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, you're right. Nah, I probably should just go to the police. All right, thank you, thank you. I'm going home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The girl didn't do it. The girl didn't do it, and I was like, you know, they might not know how to write a black writer in the room, but the dude did do it.
facts,
So
facts.
maybe he mixed. I don't know.
Maybe he mixed. He don't understand the struggle of the black woman, but he understands the
Yeah,
struggle of the black man. He said, "Nah, I'm getting the
exactly.
fuck up out of here." Um, yeah,
So yeah,
man.
this was integral. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah. So Sebastian Stan has shown that he can do something besides being the pouty soldier.
Yeah,
Because when a soldier got one level, and that's it, like pouty and just matter of fact. So to see him do this and switch into a character that's nothing like that, but also I love the fact that a lot of times in mid scene he'll be like quirky and goofy and like almost trusting, like you can see why these women were trusting him, and then as soon as she would do something, that menace switch flipped like immediately, and then you're like,
mhm,
oh crap, like this dude will, I thought that was just amazing acting, but also like that's what adds to the menace of this movie is that you don't know what this dude's really capable of because he never seems almost, I guess, completely psychopathically like out there. Like he
yeah,
feels like he has rules and restraints, and that feels secure sometimes. Where you think, okay, maybe he won't go this far, but then you have moments where you're like, oh no, he really don't got no rules, but he just plays that role so well. So I definitely dig that throughout the whole movie. Like you said, yes, it is a lot of cringe worthy moments in here because they do not let off on some of the, and like I say, I want to call it gore, but it's not like bloody
not
gore.
gory.
It's
Yeah,
just like situational, like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it because it just, if anybody has seen the movie Raw, it's similar to that. I think Raw is more extreme because this is still on Hulu, but it has moments like that if you've seen the horror movie Raw. But it just, yeah, like you said, some of the scenes where you want to feel the cringe is also coming from the interaction, but it's this extra layer as you see what they're doing and like what they're eating, and it makes the whole thing feel funny that you mentioned. Well, it felt very Texas Chainsaw Massacre in moments where it was just like this. This is an unusual setting and situation that does not feel comfortable for me as a viewer watching this, but also trying to figure out what she feels. I mean, one of the best scenes is when she throws up after a situation, and it's like, yeah, I think I would be in the same boat. Like after I had, and that's again, we can't give all spoilers, but it's actually really cool with that one. Only real big issue I have is that, like you said, all the secondary characters are fodder, and like I wish it would have been a way to just either strengthen them character wise or just focus more on that relationship more and made it more, I guess, more cringy and more tension building. Because I'll admit, like, I mean, I like Homegirl and thank you for the representation, but we could have left her out of this movie. You know what I'm saying? Like the movie, if you think about it, the movie doesn't. If she's not in the movie's the exact same movie. She doesn't really need to be there, except for like the moment at the very end. But like you
she
could have
has a
had,
moment.
yeah. And so, but also I think the other part of it is that the other characters outside of her and the black dude, I feel like all the black people get shafted in this movie. But the other characters that are in here, from the wife character, from the other chick that was being held out, I actually want to know more about their story, especially the
Yeah.
wife's story. Like when
How she end up in that situation? Yeah, like
yeah,
eat
like
her
yeah,
leg.
right, right. That's the first thing I thought was like, was this like how he's falling for her the same way he fell for his wife? Like, I don't know, but I was interested to know. But this movie was like, nah, we ain't got time for that. Let's get back to what you really care about. Um, Also, what is it with these psychopathic white men like loving music? You know, Patrick Bateman Hannibal Lecter. Like, it's something about when they're in their most vile moment, they just want to put on something
And they're
nice
all
and
cannibals too.
calming. Yeah, yeah, I get all the nice and soothing. What is that? Is that the cannibal mantra? I gotta get good music with my meal. Like,
I guess if you
um,
got to eat people, you're gonna have to like raise your sensibilities up to a different. Like you're not gonna be like some guy who's listening to like Merle Haggard or whatever. You got to be classy if you're gonna eat people, right?
I guess the only thing that I felt was horror movie tropish was the ending. Like the end was very hard, and it's funny because now when I watch horror movies that we got to review, I'm like, oh, Jason's gonna hate that moment. Oh, Jason's gonna be so mad at that character for doing that. Like, why did she drop the mallet after she got him twice? Like, in my mind, you just talk to me now when I watch these
Yeah,
movies, being like,
there were 2 times. Yeah, there were a couple times. I'm like, bitch, you can't. You gotta. Ah!
right. And now you talk about mine when I watch these things that I'm like, oh, he's gonna hate that moment. But no, I feel like the ending was the only thing that got really horror movie tropish, where it's like, oh, the characters fall, or they don't keep weapons on them, they should keep on them, or
Yeah,
like, why would you leave through that route when you can like, but I get it. Like I always say, it's because you have to build suspense to the big finish.
and they're
The
also
big
kind of
finish,
panicking because they're missing body parts.
yeah, yeah, man. Whole different game, man. You think about that whole different game when
That
you
is
ain't
a
got some spots.
great list. What would be in our cannibal playlist
Oh,
next week? We'll
oh,
we'll we'll
there you
figure it
go.
out.
All right, I'll write it down now. Oh, mine is going to just be a bunch of DMX. So I mean, what your bitches want from a nigga? Is that just
Just eat ribs, licking barbecue
right?
sauce. It's like,
What they want, like yes.
everything will be
So
fried or slow smoked and covered in barbecue sauce.
hell yeah, best way to eat ass, fried and barbecued. Uh, Jason, what is your rating for Fresh, which is again currently on Hulu?
I would give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah, like the only reason I knock it down a point is because of the cringe aspect of it. But other than that, it's a very entertaining movie. It's very enjoyable. I made my friend watch it. He hated me for it.
it
If you don't have a
is.
strong stomach, do not watch this movie.
Yeah. This is definitely one of those movies where like you refer to a friend and I'm like, man, why you make me watch this shit? I am giving it a 3.5, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Only reason I do knock it down is because I do think again the ending was kind of really tropey, but also I didn't like adding like the final villain moment, and it was like, well, you didn't even flesh that out for us to
Yeah.
care that she's like that person's involved.
Ooh, you're gonna
So I
give it
didn't care
away.
for that.
can't be
I
using
know.
can't be using ginger speech when we're talking
I
about
know. That's why I messed up when I said it, and that's why I just went to that person, but that person being involved. I didn't like that part, like a tag on. Like I get it. It's like in a horror movie where you think you've killed Jason and he jumps up for one last fight, and you,
Yeah.
yeah, I felt like that. It just was poorly done in that regard. But I still loved it. I thought it was a good movie, and this would be one of those movies that if someone goes, "Oh, but can you watch it on Hulu?" I'm like, "Oh, this is a movie I have you to watch on Hulu. You're gonna make sure you bring your puke bucket."
Yeah. Don't watch this with your kids.
Right. Man, so no, yeah, 3.5 for this one.